Hey guys, all right. So today I'm talking a little bit about, I guess I'll put it in the top corner here, defensive movement and positioning. I'll leave it at the positioning, but defensive movement. So we're talking about when we're playing defense, some of the most important parts. There's a bunch of other YouTube videos from various folks that are attached to the classroom and to this module that you should be watching, and the questions are there. But I also just want to talk a little bit about our thoughts around defensive movement and have my own video here to kind of go through things in my own words. So here we go. What we're talking about first is obviously positioning. Starting out where we're standing. Are we standing in the right spots to start with? That's probably the most important part. One thing we hear a lot is one of the big things about baseball is hit it where they ain't. So we don't want to be we don't want to be the team that ain't in any of the right positions. So we want to be in the right spots. So we're going to base our positioning on a lot of different things. So start with the basics. Pitchers and catchers pretty much know where you're going to be. I'm not going to talk too much about that on as far as starting position. Got that one nailed. Third base, infield. First, I want to talk about depths. You're going to see a video that talks about the one, the two, the three, and the four depth. I'm only really going to talk about the one depth, where you start, the basic setting as far as where I want you to start playing. Um, the basic rule I want you to follow is I want you to be as deep as you possibly can be with still having the ability to make the play. And why do we want to be as deep as possible? Well, basically, it's going to be because that gives you the maximum amount of range, the best chance to make the play. So let's give some situations here, some ideas. Number one batter, he's coming up. Um, Number one batter is, let's say he's a lefty. I'm going to move him over to this side. So he's a lefty, and he's known to be super fast, super fast. So he's the fastest guy in the league. So obviously that's going to change. So there's nobody out, nobody on, just him. But where are we going to play? Well, third baseman here. Um, Lefty, you're going to have to make this play. It's going to be a hard play. You might want to be in here. That's probably as deep as you reasonably can play. If you're standing back here, he hits a ball to you. It's going to be hit the other way. So because it's going to be slapped the other way, it's probably not going to be a rocket to you. It's probably going to be rolling along the ground. Um, and this guy is so fast, if you allow that guy to hit that ball to you, that sort of pace, like a nice slow pace, and you're standing back here, by the time that ball gets to you, this guy's probably here. By the time you even thrown the ball, he's probably here. And by the time it's at first base, he's way gone. So you can't stand back here because you're just going to be too slow. So you're going to have to be probably right in on top of this guy going, if he's going to hit it to me, this is where I need to be. This is as deep as I can be. Um, Shortstop. Yeah, probably trying to judge the same idea. It might hit it a little bit harder to you, but you probably can't be very deep. You're probably even in here as well. I'm thinking if I'm back here and dude hits the ball to me, he's safe anyway. So there's really no sense in me standing back there. So I'm going to move in here. Second baseman, probably a little deeper. This guy's a pull hitter. If he does hit, or if he does pull the ball toward me, it's got pulled ball, so it's probably got a little more velocity to it. So it's going to get to me faster. Plus, my throw obviously isn't as deep, so I can play a little bit further back. First baseman, same idea. If it's hit to me, it's probably going to be moving pretty decently. I got to catch it, and I've got to basically beat him to the base, or my pitcher's got to get over here and cover. So if it's hit to me, I can be a little deeper, but I got to consider some things. I got to consider if I'm particularly slow. I just know that, and I don't have a lot of speed. I got to come in. If I'm a super quick guy, I can go further back. So you got to make these decisions for yourself as a player. A lot of the same information that I've been talking about with you guys around base running apply to defense too. These are decisions for you to make as a player. You, as a coaching staff, we can give you guidelines and things to think about and considerations and help you out with some knowledge you might have from the bench around if this basically we have spray charts, we can help you out with that sort of thing. Or if we know this guy's faster. But generally, as a player, you have to make these decisions for yourself. There's no sense standing in a place that you know you can't make a play, and you've got to make these adjustments. You can't. We can't be looking for coaches on the bench to move every player on every play. It's not what we're interested in. So there's some basic guidelines to follow. So we ask you guys to be smart and to follow them. So here's our basic alignment for a really fast runner with what doesn't matter how many outs there are. Nobody on base. We're going to be here. Um, Great. So similar situation, you got to think now the same situation with a runner that might be stealing second base. What do we need to consider? Well, in this case, who's got the cover here? This guy tends to pull it, so this guy can be back. Shortstop, well, okay, maybe I need to cheat a little more over here. And that's like a small change, and we're opening up a little more of a gap here, but so be it. We got to be able to cover second base, and then you got to consider the speed of this guy. Is this guy fast? Is he likely to steal? Am I likely to have time? So there's no hard and fast rules that I can give you to say you're going to stand right here in this situation. You've got to consider what's happening around you. But the basic rule is in the one position. So I'm going to draw. Let me draw that if I can figure out how to draw. So this is the one position. So this is your base defense. We talked a little bit in the video around where we want our outfielders to stand as far as depth and positioning. So in that, and I agree with this. This line between first and second is a good spot. This line between second and third, and this is the straightaway position. That's a good base position. I really like the look of this because, as we've talked about, we want to squeeze the middle. As far as our defense, we want to give up these lines. So that's something that's important, and I want us to understand that, saying every batter in the world is taught to hit the ball up the middle. So we want to be in those positions. So we're talking about outfield depth as a one. Where do you want to be? Well, this is, again, a lot of judgment on your part and some spray chart information from the coaches. Depth, it's going to depend mostly on the strength of the batter. Um, my personal preference is that we challenge hitters to hit it over our heads. How many balls get hit over our heads versus plunk in front of us? If it gets hit over your head, the batter obviously did a good thing. As a pitcher, you've given up a long bomb. Okay, maybe they deserve that double. Maybe if you hustle, you can hold them to a single. But those little dinkers that fall in the middle that really annoy us, and honestly, we're going to be playing against 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. The number of guys hitting bombs over our heads is going to differ. Obviously, where you play depends on if it's a really little guy, you're probably going to be right in and challenge him to hit it over your head. If it's a big guy, well, maybe the playing tight to him does involve being a little bit deeper. So you've got to make those considerations. By default, I want you to pressure the batters and force them to hit it over your head, and then make adjustments from there. So, okay, so now let's change the situation. Number one batter is out of there. Now we got the number. Let's pick where's number four. I can't find number four. We'll put nine there. Pretend this is the cleanup guy. This is the big kid. We know a couple things about this guy. First, he's not too fast. He's a little bit pokey. He doesn't really hustle down to first, but he hits bombs. He can really hit the ball hard. So same situation as far as number of outs and who's on there's no one on base. Defensive position is going to look very different. As a third baseman, this guy's going to hit the ball to you. It's probably going to be a rocket. It's going to be moving. If he pulls it down your way, it's going to be going. So you can move back, and then you can probably stand quite a bit. Wait, you got a good arm. You feeling good about this? I can be way back here. Shortstop, same thing. This guy's going to hit a rocket. I got time. Second baseman, you can play deeper. First baseman, so see the difference. Everyone has moved way back because if the ball gets hit to you, you're gonna have time because this guy's not real fast. He's gonna take his time. So by the time this rocket now gets to you at the third baseman, this guy's probably even maybe got to here. You've got the time to kind of make that nice clean throw to first. Um, First baseman depth, same thing. If he hits it, it's probably going to be a little slower because it's going to be the other way. But I just have to beat him to the bag or feed my pitcher, and I've got lots of time, so I might as well play deep. So one thing the first baseman need to consider is obviously the ability to get to the base to cover. So you can't be standing out here. So you do have to be able to, on any ground ball, be able to get there. So but still as deep as you can to make that play. So typically the first baseman can be pretty deep because by the time these guys make plays, they're going to have time. So this is all stuff based on that. And then we got to consider left and right shifts. What are we wanting to do as far as moving left, moving right? Generally, as a rule, I want the shortstop again give up, or the third baseman to give up the line a bit. Um, Hits down the line, dude hits a double down the line, gets one down there. It's like, okay, fine. Like that doesn't happen too often. Obviously, if a guy is always pulling it right over the third base, we got to fix that. But I like their third baseman to play off that line a little bit, squeeze the middle. That allows the shortstop to squeeze the middle. First base as well, squeeze the middle. Second baseman can squeeze the middle. So you see how we're intending here to play This field's actually pretty funny because this is actually the fence, so I should be drawing um, an extended line here. Oh, I actually can draw an extended, not very straight one apparently, but I can draw some base lines so it's a little bit easier for you to see. Um, that's obviously someone drawing the lines after a few beverages. Not doing a great job, but you get the idea. So now you see we've squeezed this middle. We've taken this. Obviously in this big number 9 guy, these guys, outfielders, going to be shoving back a little bit. And if this guy's a pure pull hitter, again, challenge him to do something different. So we may actually end up doing something like this. Our center fielder is going to control this, and we're going to give him all sorts of this line saying, dude, if you want to poke one this way, maybe you do that. And then maybe our first baseman actually cheats back a little extra to try to cover some more of that ground. Bit challenging. You might not get there, so you got to be careful. But maybe we're starting to play defense like that. Again, this is all the stuff that we have to think about, but it's basic depth. So for depth for the outfielders, again, challenge them. Big hitter, you're going to play deeper. Smaller guy, you're going to play in. So just to sort of cover that defensive positioning differential, if you look quickly. So this is my big hitter here, and now my small guy comes back up, my small lefty, and look at all the changes that are going to happen. This is going to go away from here to way in here, to way in here, to here, to moving in. This guy's probably going to come way in here. Challenge, that's his base position. So he's probably going to be even further over. Base position, probably even further over. Base position here, unless this guy's maybe we think he's a slap hitter, so we actually might play that the other way and do this. We might actually play them like that, and then so you see some like radically different defenses, but always following the same set of rules. For infielders, as deep as you can play to make the play, totally changes based on the runner. Outfielders, challenging, probably about as shallow as you're comfortable. That you know it's just not just the guy's going to hit it over my head for sure. So you're going to push the boundaries and obviously just adjust. And then shifting left and right, getting up the lines so everything's squeezed in the middle. And then I'm a kind of a fan of some pretty dramatic shifting, getting over to make sure that we're not going to give up the hit that is the most obvious hit that you're going to give up. So I don't want to give up the little left field little dink shot over the third baseman's head to the small left-handed batter with our powerful pitcher on the mound. Clearly, he's just going to be trying to flip that ball out into left field, just getting it over the third baseman's head and in front of the left fielder. That's his entire goal. He's never going to pull the ball. So I'd want us to not allow that to happen. So in a situation like that, we could even do things like we may even take this guy, play this guy tight, play that left fielder tight. We have a gap here, pulling this tight. If we know he's never going to pull the ball, there's no chance he's ever going to do it. We may even take our number 9 guy and stick him there. We can do stuff like that. So I want our defenses to be aggressive. But that's the idea of defensive positioning and movement to start. Set yourself up to be successful. Set ourselves up on defense to where they're actually going to hit the ball. Okay, let's go reset this then into base. I'll just start in base position. So here, lined up there. So this guy is lined up here. We've gotten up the lines. We've got this set up. We've got these guys in base positions. Okay, so now the after the ball gets hit, actually before the ball gets hit, some of the things I want us to be doing as a defense is really thinking before the ball gets hit what you're going to do. That's probably one of the most important things, and it's something that we often forget. So each person, I often see this, and I think it's really hilarious when I see it in younger players, rookie ball, mosquito ball, is coaches trying to yell out to every single player on the field what they're to do when they get the ball. Joey, when you get the ball, you throw it a second. So now you have one coach trying to tell 9 people, 10 people on the field what they're each going to do. Nobody has time for this. So I want to teach you guys, and you should know the basics so that you can think for yourself, and suddenly everyone can know what's going on. So I want you guys to really think through it. In this situation, let's start with the third baseman. So our third baseman is here. We have a hitter here that's going to be, say, a medium speed, medium power. The guy can hit the ball pretty hard every once in a while. Not a super power hitter, but more than just a slapper. This guy is pretty fast at first. So you got your third baseman. So what are you thinking about here? So let's say there's nobody out. So there's nobody out, runner at first, this kind of hitter going on. Well, first I got to play where I got to know where what I'm gonna do when I get the ball. So if I get that ball, where's my play? Okay, well, so what to think about? Obviously, I want to go get the lead runner is the rule. So I want to go get this guy at second base. Perfect. So I should play here. I get the ball. I'm going to throw to second. What should I consider? Well, if this guy's really fast and I make a bobble, then I know there's a time limit. So I got to think about if it doesn't get hit hard, maybe I just got to go to first, that sort of thing. So you got to consider the speed of the runner. You got to consider how fast the ball's hit. You got to consider how cleanly you made the play. So things to consider when you're prior to the ball being hit are how fast is the runner, and then go through the scenarios of if it's a hard hit ball to me, like a hard grounder I picked up clean, I know I have time. If it's a soft roller, what are the things that are likely to happen here? This guy's going to hit me a hard grounder. I'm going to go to second. That's what I'm going to do. Hits me a slow roller. All right, a slow roller, I got to charge, and now I know this guy's probably fast. I'm going to get that. I get a line drive in the air that I catch. Okay, I'm probably going to be looking at this guy, throwing to first base if I see him off the base. Those are the basics, right? Same thing with everyone on the field. Shortstop, I got a hard grounder towards second base. What am I going to do? I'm going to get it and I'm going to flip for the double play, or if it's a really good one, I'll run and I'll do the tag, or I'll run, I'll step, and I'll throw for the double play. If I catch it in the hole and a hard grounder, well, I really don't feel like, based on the speed of this guy, I'm going to be able to backhand it and get it over to second, so I'm going to have to make that throw to first. Slow roller, probably going first, same thing. So it's all about considering the different ways you're going to get the ball and then what you're going to do about it. So that's the pre-planning. So when we're doing practices, we'll certainly talk about that, saying before that ball gets into play, what are you going to do? What's the basic thing you're going to do? And then what are the other considerations? So as a second baseman here, the basic thing is I'm going to get a ground ball, throw it to second, and try to turn that double play. Great. What are the considerations? If it's slowly hit, then I probably can't. If it's too far to my left, or too far to my left toward first, maybe I can't. I got to go to first, that sort of thing. So those are the pre-planning considerations. And then once the ball gets hit, I want us to execute our ball-based backup concept, which basically means when that ball gets hit, we're all going to react to the ball, and then we're going to be heading over to cover the requisite base. And if everyone follows the rule, then we're going to be okay. So here's the basics of this. So basic defense. Here we go. We'll take this guy. Actually, we'll leave him there. Why not? Okay. So the ball gets hit this direction. Everybody follows the ball-based backup theory, which means if I go through it quickly, everyone reacts to the ball. Once that you know that the ball is not yours, so at some point you understand, wait, I'm now the left fielder, I'm not going to get the ball, I go to the next thing, which is base. Is there a base for me to cover? I'm going to go cover that base. And if I can't cover the base, I'm going to go back up something. I'm going to go be useful. So in this situation, the ball gets hit here. What I would want to see is the pitcher immediately reacting toward the ball. If he can get the ball, get the ball. Say that ball scoots past him. Okay, no problem. Pitcher then goes, okay, what's the next thing I want to do? Ball, I better go cover a base. Well, is there a base for me to be covering? Yeah, look at this. I'm already running toward first base. And that's basically the rule the pitcher's going to follow. First the ball, and then just go the direction you're already going, head over toward first base, and be ready to cover it. If the first baseman's there, got it covered, now you're a backup, so you can start to think about where's the best place for you to go be a backup for that play, and you have to and you got to watch here. Then maybe you can run in back here, or maybe you see that there might be a play later at second, so you're now a backup guy and you go find a spot. Same situation. As soon as that ball gets hit, the first baseman is going to start moving toward that ball. Because if the first baseman reacts toward the base first, and this ball's a little further this way than he thought, out here it goes, no good. So he's going to react toward the ball, and so is the second baseman. So they're both reacting to the ball. At some point, one of these players is going to have to understand and call that, going, oh, it's my ball, I'm going to get it. So the other one can then take care of their secondary duties, clearly going toward the second baseman. The second baseman is going to say, I got that, or the first baseman is just going to recognize that clearly it's going right to the second baseman. So they're going to start toward the ball, realize, nope, that's definitely going to the second baseman, I'm good, and get over to first base in order to get that throw, or I guess in this case, be there in time for the double play. That would be cool. But you might get a situation where it wasn't really clear who was going to get it. If this guy was here and you were here and this ball was coming through here as a first baseman, you had to keep going. It was never clear. You end up catching it. You want to now make this play to say this guy was stealing and he's there. So you got to make that play to first. Well, if the pitcher, remember, he was supposed to be doing his job of covering the base. If he did it, he'll be standing there. Or maybe the second baseman, because he was coming at that ball, maybe he kept going. Someone's going to be there communicating, and you're going to have someone to throw to. So the basic ball base backup continues to always work. If I walk through the third baseman scenario in this case, so I'll reset these guys to where they started, and we'll put this guy here, this guy here. Ball gets hit this direction. Third baseman's going to start toward the ball. And it seems silly a little bit when we talk about that, saying, what do you mean I'm going to start toward the ball? The ball's hit toward the second baseman. Like, why would I even start in that direction? The reason it's so important is that when you have this concept of I'm going to chase the ball, then your reactions just take you. You have that, you're not trying to process it with your brain that it's going towards second base. You're just reacting to the visual cue of the ball coming out the bat. So what that means is you're going to take some quick steps toward the ball as soon as it gets hit. What that's going to help you with is your brain can't figure out that it's toward the second, like the difference between the ball going toward the second baseman and the ball going into this gap in the first split second. You just see the ball and you react. So by reacting that way, when that ball is actually here, you are already moving toward it and you're giving yourself a good chance to cut it off and being able to make this play. If you wait to be sure that you should move, so the ball gets hit, oh yeah, I'm not even going to react to it. I'm just going to go cover my base, or oops, let me just get rid of that. All right. I'm just going to say, wait, I'm going to wait. So now that ball gets hit this direction. You kind of waited to make sure you were supposed to move. Oh, yeah, that is actually my ball, and you're going to start moving toward it now. Well, guess what? You're too late, and the ball's gotten through. So that split second reaction is really, really, really important. So I just hit reset. I want to make sure I get these guys into the the right positions here, so that we're not. So we're actually using our proper numbers. Okay. So that's what I was talking about when we talk about when you're talking to make the reaction. Even if the ball is hit over here, a fly ball out to right field, as a third baseman, you're going to make a quick couple of steps before you realize, because that way your brain is just taking over and your reaction times improve. Same thing, left field is going to take those first couple of steps. That's sort of that reaction. So, and when you're doing the ball base backup, so a ball comes up the middle, you move toward the ball, you move toward the ball. It's decided the shortstop's going to catch it. The second baseman was already on his way to cover his base, so he's going to get there. First baseman made a move toward the ball, quickly realized and moved back. Same third baseman moved toward the ball, quickly realized and went to cover third base. Outfielders doing the same thing. They're moving toward that ball. As soon as they realize it's going to be caught by an infielder, they can get busy doing, they usually don't have base coverage. Sometimes they do in a situation where this guy and the third baseman may have all headed off to do something else. I've seen left fielders come in and cover at third base, and it looks really cool when that happens. So always being alert that base coverage is there, but for outfielders, it's most often going to be ball and then backup. So in that situation, when there's a, if I reset this quickly to the right spots, so this ball gets hit, say in this direction, this guy's heading here, this guy's heading here, everyone's collapsing on the ball. This is a really cool one where it's rolling here, this guy's collapsing on the ball. Oops, through the legs it goes. Hey, guess what? My right fielder's standing there, so he can pick it up because he reacted. He didn't assume there was a catch, and the ball doesn't go to the fence. Or even better, maybe he can actually make this play to first. Surprise. So ball gets caught by here, gets thrown to first base. This runner's coming down here. All good, right? So in that situation, the shortstop would have headed toward the ball, saw that it was caught by the second baseman, so he's going to go cover second, third base, quick check, go back to third. Left fielder, quick check. Wait, okay, now I understand the ball hits the second, but now I'm a backup. So what am I going to back up? I'm going to read this play. I see ball's probably going to go to first. What could go wrong? Well, let's say it goes in here. There's a bobble. The ball gets through here. This guy heads over to here. First baseman goes to get it, makes that throw. Guess where I could have been standing? Same thing with the center fielder. You saw this happening. Guess where you could have been standing, right? Or center fielder is going to come here. In that situation, what about this poor pitcher? What's he doing? Well, he probably could have seen all this going, I'm going to go back up third base just in case something goes wrong over here at second base. So everyone's always moving. Catcher probably doing the same thing. Could back up third, or just make sure you're staying at home so you've got that base covered. Probably coming out here to direct and call traffic and start to communicate. Um, First baseman's got that first base, right fielder. And again, sometimes you're going to be like, oh, what the heck am I covering? Maybe you're coming back here in case this rundown happens, right? I'm going to come back into this position where it's like, I'm going to start getting ready for, oh, this guy was running, got the ball. Damn, now I'm in a rundown. So great. Ball's going back and forth. You're already here. You're able to get into this line. And so you've already got two guys in this line ready for the rundown. And if something goes wrong here and this ball ends up going, we end up in a rundown here, my pitcher's in the right position. These guys can start to run into the second baseman, go back here. So it's constantly seeing the right place to be, following the ball base backup model, but then paying attention to the play and always hustling until the play is over. So that's the basics. That's the when we're talking about defense and we're talking about movements, it is following the ball base backup model, always hustling. Um, One thing that I want us to be aware of a defense is that if you're always moving as fast as you can, you're hustling from place to place, that you can really change games and really make a big difference. So every player's moving on every play is really a very important thing, and everyone's hustling to their positions and getting to the right spot as fast as they can. Okay, so that's it for me. Quick review of what we talked about. Summary is positioning first when we're in the number one position, which is the base position, as deep as you can play and still make the play. Don't go too deep because you can't make the play. Too shallow because the balls will get past you. The depth you play really depends on the situation, like the speed of the batter. Pre-plan things. So be ready and have a plan. That ball gets hit to you, you know what you're doing right away. You don't catch the ball and then try to figure it out. You've got a plan for the basic things that are going to happen to you, which are I catch a pop up, I catch a line drive, I catch a hard grounder, I catch a slow grounder. Those are the basics. So have a good knowledge of what you can do in each and every situation. If everyone does that, then when you get the ball, your action can be immediate. And then now that your pre-planning is done, once that ball gets hit into play, follow the ball base backup model in order to make sure that you are doing the right thing. You're catching the ball where you're supposed to catch it. You're going to the base you're supposed to be going to. You've got coverage, all that sort of stuff. Those are the basic defensive things. And based on the other videos that we watched as part of this module, you'll see various other, like you get the doubles and the double cuts, and those are the advanced situations that also get fully covered. And that's it. If we follow these rules, then at least we're going to be standing in the right spots. We're going to have things covered. And then it comes down to the fundamentals of actually making the catches and making the throws. But there's nothing worse than making a good throw and someone's not in the right spot or not being at the place you need to be. So that's the basics of defensive positioning and defensive movement for me. And we certainly can talk about more of this as we have our conversations. Thanks for listening, and yeah, post any questions that you've got inside the classroom in Discord, and we can have a team conversation about stuff. Thanks. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.